Hey everyone, how you all doing? Sir Stevie here, bringing you a brand new Blackout video. In the video today, guys, I'm going to be going with something a little bit different. Basically, it's another tutorial video, just with some gameplay in the background. I thought, normally my tutorial videos, you guys seem to like them, to get quite a few likes, so I just thought I'd do another one. This one is a little bit different from any I've done before. This is basically 10 basic tips for starting out in Blackout. So if you're a new player and you're just coming across from a different Battle Royale game, something like that, I just thought I'd throw together some tips for you guys that if I was new to Blackout, these would really help me. Just sort of little everyday tips that you might not think to do if you're still learning bits and tricks of the game, that sort of thing. But yeah, first of all though, thank you for choosing to click on the video, it's much appreciated. If you're new to the channel and you like the video, feel free to drop a like and subscribe. Be much appreciated. On the road to 100 subscribers at the moment, we're currently on 81. So every little bit of help that you can give would be really appreciated. But without further ado, let's get straight into the tips. So one of the first tips that I'd recommend for you guys, and this is quite a big one for me, it's basically don't land in too quiet a place. What I mean by that is, I'm not saying land at like a really busy place where there's going to be like 15 people, because if you're someone who's new to the game, odds are you are going to struggle to learn the mechanics of the game, learn what guns you like, that sort of thing. If you're landing in a place where you're lucky to get a kill and then you die, the only thing I'd say though is don't land in too quiet a place. The only reason being is, if you land somewhere where there's say like 2 or 3 little huts right on the edge of the map, the odds are you're going to come out with a terrible loadout. You'll come out with say like an SMG, you won't come out with an AR, you might not come out with any armor, perks, armor plates, a good gun. And then say for example if you land somewhere that's really far on the edge of the map, by the time you bump into people, they might have landed at a better place, they'll have a full loadout, they'll have like an assault rifle, whereas you might not. So it puts you in a bit of an awkward position, so in my opinion, definitely land somewhere that's a little bit busy. Not really busy like say construction site or something like that, but somewhere where there might be 1 or 2 people, but not around about 10 people, so it gives you the chance to get a loadout, get a few kills under your belt at the start of a game, that sort of thing. Coming into the second tip, everyone, the next one I'd recommend, it's basically just a little one. I only found it out around about a month or so ago, maybe more or less, give or take a bit. And basically, when you are, say, you've been in a fight or you've taken some damage and you're repairing your health and your armor, I see a lot of people and they just repair each, like the health, and then they repair their armor individually. There is a way where you can actually like heal yourself, so get your health back up to 150 or 200, and then you're able to use armor plates at the same time. It's really handy. You'll see on your screen now me giving an example. Basically, you need your quick menu up, so you press up on your D-pad, and then basically you hover over your armor plates and you hold square and L1 at the same time, or X and LB if you're on the Xbox. I'm sure this will still work on Xbox as well. I've only tried it on PS4 myself, but I'm sure it'll work on Xbox as well. So basically, if you just hold those buttons together, so L1 and then square, if you're on PlayStation, it will basically heal your armor and repair your health at the same time. It might seem like a simple tip, but in all honesty, say for example someone's heard the gunshots from your fight and you're on like 50 health, being able to get your armor back and your health at the same time, it can be the difference between winning that next fight and losing it if someone's trying to rush you straight away and third party you. So it's definitely a tip I'd recommend doing. So the next tip that I'd recommend everyone, it is again quite a simple one, and this is to do with your landing strategy. So basically when you land, sometimes when I start out I'd sort of land and I wouldn't prioritise a gun. I'd be running around and picking up everything I saw, like medis, armor, a grenade, a grapple gun, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, nothing is more important than a gun at the start of a game. There's nothing more important. You can find level 3 armor, you could find, you know, all the perks that you want, great attachments. But at the end of the day, if someone's got a gun and you've not, you're going to have to hope that they've got a terrible aim or you can manage to run away from them. So definitely guys, first thing that you do when you land, ignore everything until you've got a gun. Or at least, in my opinion, I sometimes do it until I've got a decent gun. Because knowing my luck, I land, I find a Mozu, which is basically like having a glorified BB gun in my opinion. And so, just whatever gun you can get though, just land, get a gun, and then start your usual looting for armor, things like that. Moving into the next tip, basically this again, quite a simple one. It's use cover. The amount of times I've killed people and they've been a new person to the game and they're just running through the middle of this field. I feel like this is something that I struggled a little bit to get to grips with at first when starting in Blackout, because if you're someone like me and you're used to coming across from a game like Fortnite, I didn't really play any other Battle Royales before Blackout, in all honesty. So if you're someone like me and you're used to playing Fortnite, you can build cover yourself whenever you want, so long as you had the materials in Fortnite. But in Blackout, if you're in the middle of a field and you start getting shot by someone who's got... They don't even have to have a good aim, so long as they've got a bit of a decent aim and they've got a good gun like an ABR, you're pretty much dead. By the time you've even found out where that person is, odds are you're going to be dead or nearly dead. One of the two, not a good situation to be in. So what I'd recommend is don't run through open spaces. Try and run in between trees. Make sure you're close to some sort of cover. Doesn't matter what type of cover, whether it's a tree, a rock, a building. Just make sure you're near some cover. I always do it. I make sure that I'm no more than like a second or two behind some sort of cover, just in case someone decides to start shooting at me. Next up, guys, quite a simple tip that it's a piece of equipment basically that I think a lot of people tend to overlook. I definitely did, but lately I've started using them, and I never really appreciated this piece of equipment in all honesty, but now I absolutely love using it. Always carry it so long as I've got the space, and what makes it better is the fact that you can stack this item in your inventory, and it's the smoke grenade. Nothing worse if you're in that situation where maybe you're in the end game and there isn't really any cover, you're in the middle of a field and there's no cover. A smoke grenade to some extent kind of creates cover for you, because there's nothing worse than when I'm trying to snipe someone and they drop a smoke grenade. I've got no idea where they are. There's nothing like in the old Call of Duty multiplayers like Modern Warfare 2 where you can get thermal vision on your gun. So being able to just throw a smoke grenade and you're pretty much invisible really gives you not necessarily an advantage, but it just gives you that extra second where, say, they've really hit you and you're on like 20 health. It just gives you that second to medi up or to escape over a little hill or get into a building, something like that. And as I said, what's even better about this is, unlike concussion grenades, you can stack these, so you can carry 2 in your inventory at once, which is great. You know, it's not like you can carry quite a few and it's not taking up that much space. So definitely use smoke grenades, everyone. Moving into the next tip, basically, this is quite a simple one as well. This is one I never understood why some people do it. Maybe if you guys know, maybe leave it in the comments, but it's to do with trauma kits. The amount of times I'll see people playing, if I'm playing like squads with someone or something like that, and they're saving a trauma kit, and I'm always baffled by it, to be honest, because the only reason I'd carry a trauma kit personally is if I'm on 200 health already and I've just got one spare. If you're someone who's really new to Blackout and you don't know what a trauma kit is, it's basically the best medical item in the game. It's the only medical item that can get you up to 200 health. Every other medical item just gets you up to 150, whether it's the white first aid kits or the red medi kits. They're the only ones that will get you up to 150, but if you want to get to 200 health, a trauma kit's the way to do it. It's the only way to do it. And so basically, I'll see people carrying them and they're on like 150 health, and I'll say, well, why are you carrying that? And they'll say, oh, well, when I'm in a fight and I'm then down on 20 health after that fight, it's great to use. But there's been tons of times where I've used my trauma kit, I'm on 200 health, I'm in a fight with someone and I'm left on 20 health. So they've done 180 damage to me. If it wasn't for that trauma kit, I'd have been dead, because if they've just dealt 180 damage to me and I would have only been on 150 health if I hadn't used a trauma kit, I'd have been dead. So if you get a trauma kit, guys, just use it. The only times I'd say maybe not use it is if, say, you're on 190 health somehow, you know, just something like that. But in my opinion, if you've got a trauma kit, use it. The next tip I'd recommend to you guys, it is similar to healing as well, like the trauma kit scenario, and it's a big one that I always do, and it's really helpful for me personally. Basically, whenever you've just been in a fight and you've won that fight, don't just instantly jump into their loot bag and start looting. The first thing I always do is medi up. I don't necessarily always upgrade medi up my armor straight away, because I might have, say, level 1 or level 2 and they've got something better like level 3. That's a scenario where I wouldn't heal my armor. First thing I do though, whenever I've been in a fight, straight away, is I reload my gun and medi up. The reason being is you never know how far away your next opponent is. There might not be someone from, you know, within the next like minute of sprinting within you. You might, you know, have no one near you. But you never know, there could be someone like 2 feet behind you who's just been hiding in a bush for a living, you know. So, just basically medi up straight away as soon as you've been in a fight. It's helped me so many times, because then I've got rushed, I've just about managed to kill the person who was trying to third party me, who, like I said, was hiding in a bush. So always medi up straight away as soon as you're in a fight. Coming into the next tip, everyone, this is again quite a big one for me. It's basically avoid using vehicles. I know they're fun to use and it can be great trying to run people over, but the only problem I have with vehicles is they make that much noise that whenever I'm using them, it feels like I'm just a magnet and everyone seems to head towards me. So whenever I use a vehicle, the only reason I'll use it is basically if I have to get to the zone, whether it's a case of, right, if I don't use this vehicle now, I'm going to die to the zone because I don't have enough medi supplies, or it's too far away, I've got to travel. You know, say I'm up at a state and I have to get to Turbine in a minute, something stupid like that. That's the only time I use vehicles. If you have to use a vehicle, guys, don't use the roads. So many people put mesh mines on there and it's just, you know, a death trap. But for me personally, I avoid vehicles like the plague, just because of the fact that I die so many times using them. Because by the time I've got off the vehicle, especially if when you've driven back into the zone, if you get off straight away, because there's so many people zone camping, it can just cause a bit. Sometimes it's more trouble than it's worth, in all honesty, using a vehicle, especially with the amount of noise that they make, and you're so easy to spot using them. You never know how far away someone is when you get off that quad bike. So, my opinion, I just steer clear of them. The next tip I'd recommend to you all, guys, it's a simple one again. It's use perks. When I started out in Blackout, I didn't really use perks. I thought, oh, I'd rather carry an extra cluster grenade or a concussion grenade or a trophy system, you know, just something like that. But in all honesty, perks make such a big difference in this game. I can't tell you how great some perks are. My favourite ones, to be honest, that I'd recommend using, especially if you manage to get in the end game, is Consumer and Paranoia and Reinforced. Those are my big three that I always try and have in an end game, just because of the fact that you can heal up so quickly using Consumer. And sometimes by the time, you know, you might have an opponent rushing you, and by the time you've healed up, you're back on full health again. So it's definitely a big one using perks in the end game, guys, and things like that. They are a massive, massive help. And finally, everybody, the final tip that I'd recommend for you all to use is basically work on your landing. If you want to see a good way to land, if you go back to the start of the video and watch me landing in this game, I actually get quite a good landing. It makes such a big difference perfecting your landing on this game, guys. The reason being is, as I said, if you look at the start of my gameplay there, I was the first person to land on that roof because I had the best landing strategy possibly, and that's what made the difference between me getting a gun first and overall getting quite a good start to this game and ultimately winning the game. The way I land, guys, it's quite simple. Basically, I'll jump out of the helicopter almost straight away. I'll dive for around about a second or two until my speed builds up to around about 60, and then I can just, you know, level off and sail straight to where I want to go, basically. So definitely work on your landing in order to get better at the game, guys. That's it from me today, though. I hope these tips have helped you. If they have, feel free to drop a subscribe and like, everybody, and let me know what you thought of the video and if there's any tips that you found useful. Thanks so much for watching as always, guys. Have a great evening. Take care. Bye for now.